And I record here. All right, now, Jorge, it's your time. Let me see you.
Testing. Let's see if I'm cutting out.
Yeah, you're cutting out just a little bit, but I don't like it.
Dimitri.
I mean, I don't think it's cutting out on the recording.
Correct.
Pretty sure, but it's cutting out on my crappy, cheap.
Your cheap, top of the line Apple product.
Yeah. Chinese rip out $50 headphone. You say something, Dimitri?
I didn't realize it was a crappy headphone.
I mean, he has a great voice, right? It's just this $20 thing, and it works fine. And
then I just use this just to be sure that.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, understand.
It's good enough. It's good enough. Okay, it's only you, right? Can you something? Try again. Try. No, but it's definitely my headset.
But it only for me.
But no, it's a Yeti.
It's fine now. It's fine now. It's fine now so far. Okay. It's fine now.
All right.
I mean,
I find his studio impressive.
But yeah. Everything has to be top of the line. Right?
Like you have some cool stuff behind you too, Jorgen, with your guitar and all that.
It's just my guitar amplifier, and what I'm.
Like,
this is all what you need to
make
great noise.
Jorgen looks really like a real studio. So both of you together, you can do some.
Yeah, we can always. I mean. I don't know. Right. Joel always told us he wants us to be rock stars, right? I don't know if I got something wrong, but I'm working on that.
You're on your way, right? I mean, you got to
Yeah, I'm really working on that. Okay, it's fine. It's fine for me now, and also for it's perfect. So I would say we keep it like that.
All right.
Let me double check the recording. Yeah, it's perfect. All right, don't save and record. I already record this. Okay, double check. This is recording. Okay, guys. So welcome to another episode of the Oracle Apex Talk Show. And today, another hybrid. So we also recorded the video and put it on our apex.world YouTube channel. Just in case we want to show something or we want to demo something. And it's nice to see the people anyway, right? These days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
So I invited a lot of people from the community, and 80% are in holiday. It's amazing. I don't know what holiday actually is. So Francis is on holiday, Niels is on holiday, Matt has to take care of the children, Morten has a holiday, I don't know. Dietmar couldn't make it, Dennis wasn't sure, so he's not there, obviously. So anyway, so it's just the three of us, but it's nice to have you guys back on. And I think we have today a special show. The intention of the show is not this time to introduce the people, because you already has been on the show. And I want to kind of, we had a bumpy time, a rough time behind us. And I see, because I have to check the apex.world tweets every day, that we have, kind of a different atmosphere. And everything came together. And so we had tweets like 8.21.1, the worst release ever, and and people also complaining about missing features, and a lot of bugs are still there, and don't understand why the development team obviously has to do anything else but inventing a new color picker, which everything will be more clear after the show. So there's a lot of things mixing up and leading to, I would say, a bad feeling. So I get this yeah, the emotions and it's different. And I want to clear that, and I want to ask you guys, you are there from day one and there forever, and prominent members of the community, to figure out what you think. And is it right? Is it a 21.1 problem? Is it a problem is it true that it was the first release without Joe? Is it really true? So are you concerned about the future of Apex now that Joel is gone? I mean, I planned the show with Joel, right? I asked Mark, so I want to do a show because of the negative tweets about 21.1 and this different situation we have right now. So I wanted to have him on the show, and so yeah, he said, yeah, when he's coming back, so he will be there and he will clarify a lot. And so we all know this will never happen again. So therefore, I want to talk to you guys. What is, just a simple question? Give me a rating, just a personal feeling about how do you feel about the current state of Apex? Let's say from 1 to 10, where are you? What is your satisfaction or your confidence? Where are you in the rating from 1 to 10? 1 means I will never use it again, and 10 means everything is perfect, everything is awesome, they read my mind, and you know. What would you say? Just as a feeling, don't, without processing intellectually and saying, yeah, but this is not, just a feeling, a gut feeling.
For me, it's 9.
Okay.
I mean, for me, still pretty high, right? I still love Apex. I'm still on a.
Yeah, no, I'm not. No. Yeah. I'm just, what is your feeling right now? Just without even without rationalizing it and just saying, okay, for some reason we are. Where are you?
I'm still on a 9.
Oh, you are. So I'm on a 7.
Okay.
And I'm on a 7. And have you ever been on a 10?
Yeah, probably.
Like 10 would be perfect.
Yeah.
Like, but
no. Have you not perfect in a like a, just, do you remember times where you say, oh, it can be better, or just from the emotion here, from the emotion side, right?
Things got changed a lot, like going from the small thing to a very big thing. So of course,
no. Now you're rationalizing. No. You're already in your head. I don't want to hate. I don't want to have your head.
Okay.
I want to have your gut feeling. So, have you ever been in your life on a 10 from your feeling when you remember?
Yeah, maybe the first time it's like first love, like this feeling.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And you are 10. Yeah.
So same here. I was on a 10. And when was the time when you were on a 10? Just roughly. Was it last year? Was it 5 years ago? Was it 10 years ago?
No, yeah, like 10 years ago. Like
10 years ago.
When I first saw it, and like 2006, 2007, like I would say 2006 till 2012, like Apex 5, like around that time. Like that was amazing. Like
yeah. Agree.
It was just on a high constantly.
Yeah. I totally agree on that. So I was also on a 10, so roughly 5 years ago. Okay. So maybe I should have started with why is Martin not on the show? A lot of people know or don't know that Martin has joined the development team. The Apex development team recently, and I think he was the last hire of Joe. And we talked, and if it makes sense to be on the show, and we decided it doesn't make a lot of sense because he has a lot of conflict of interest. He cannot speak as a private person anymore, as the community member Martin, right? Because right. I mean, he is part of the team now, and he also knows stuff he cannot talk about publicly yet. So therefore, it would be some kind of, how do you say in German? If you're dancing on eggs. I don't know if this is
dancing on ice.
Yeah, I don't know.
English is walking on eggshells.
Yeah.
Walking on eggshells. See, it's pretty.
On English, we do say walking on eggshells.
Yeah, exactly. So, so we decided no, this time we do the show without him. But yeah, next time he will be back, no doubt about it. Okay, so I also agree that my feeling when I think about it 5 years ago, 5.1, and so Universal Team came out, amazing, right? And somehow it dropped over the years, and but still every new version was great. I'm just talking for me, right? It's just my feeling. Every version was great, and you had new features that, oh, that's amazing, that's amazing. But at the same time, there was stuff. So I remember many years ago when I was at a DOAC and who did I meet? Patrick, yeah, I met Patrick there, and I had my ideas of what I would like to have in Apex in the next version or in a future version, and I told him 4 of my ideas, and then he wrote in his book, and it's always a good sign if he's writing something in his book. Yeah. You made it very far if you made it to his book. And there was one idea where he's compiling the source code in his head. And then he already sees the implication. Then he told me, oh yeah, but if we would do this, we had this implication here and there. And I said, oh no, forget it. I don't want to have that anymore. Right? But other than that, he wrote down 3 of the requests, and all 3 was there in the next Apex version. That's right. Without even mentioning it. And this was the time where I said, oh, amazing, we're just one team and everything is awesome. And I was completely happy. I was on a 10. This kind of changed over the years. So I used to report every now and then to this, I would call graveyard, apex.oracle.com/road, when I found something. And I mean, it has become a running gag over 10 years. And nothing, I mean, no feedback. There was technically no feedback possible. And over the time, the missing functionalities, they piled up, but they were always overwritten with a new version where I found features which I really liked and which I could use immediately and in the next project, and I was eager to upgrade. And to be honest, this time I really understand why this 21.1 release was not well received, because when I went through the feature list, I literally waited in the morning, so refreshed the page if it's there, and then it was there, and I was very excited, and I saw, yeah, okay, we have new maps. Okay, I don't need maps. I've never used maps. Besides in apex.world, I never used maps in my, I don't know, 100 projects I did so far. But great, right? I mean, looks nice, and we don't use this key anymore. Great feature. But then I went through and Markdown. I said, well, okay, come on, guys, Markdown. I don't need that.
Oh, we all know how you feel about Markdown.
Yeah, I mean, except I know, but I know.
Dimitri and I think we disagree.
Yeah, okay.
We're not going to go into.
No, I'm not going to rant about Markdown. It's fine. But I mean, I went through all these features, and I said no, and then I see, oh, we have a new date picker. Really? Why? Right? I was happy with the old date picker. And then I came to the part where and also a new color picker. And I said, what? You really need a new color picker? So then I had this picture in my head where the development team sitting in an ivory tower and polishing their fingernails and saying, what can we do next? Oh, maybe a new color picker would be nice. And this was a little weird. And I said, well, actually, there's nothing in for me in this version. And even later, I found out something that a minor thing, the dynamic action server-side condition. And it was not, yeah. And this was something for me. I said, yeah, I would love to have that for a very, very, very long time. I requested that for a very long time, right? For many years.
Yeah.
And finally it's there. So the first check, oh my goodness, there's a reason for me to upgrade. And maybe it doesn't look great. They didn't even have it in the first draft, in the first, feature list. And also that we have 100 new icons. I mean, I go through the icons every day. Right? They're amazing. Bob is an artist. I don't know if people really see how beautiful this icons and how hard it is to make something so simple and beautiful and consistent over hundreds of icons. It's amazing. And so a new icon is for me like, wow, a new icon, right? Maybe for other people say, what icon? I don't care about icons, but so this was then the two features I was really happy about. But I really get that this is the negative connotation came out, and the atmosphere with different tweets complaining about really you need a new color picker, and then we have the state picker, and it doesn't have this functionality, it doesn't have the to date, it doesn't have this, and it renders weird, so it flickers when it's rendering. So why do you change that? Now I know that the team is not, they're not sitting in an ivory tower and don't know what to do. So this was all a necessity because they couldn't use the lips anymore, right?
jQuery UI.
Yeah, so
they want to get rid of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was not, oh, this is the biggest problem and this is what we really have. This is the biggest need in the community, a new color picker. But it came across like that a little bit, right? If you don't have the background story and together with piling up, so everybody had this list. I remember that Peter Raganic, he tweeted up like, oh, just give me 1 week to implement all the things that annoys me in the application builder. Just give me 1 week and I do it, right? And there also, I think Gemma was, I'm not sure if it was Gemma, sorry about if I'm quote you wrong, and it's, but there are, I think everybody has this list, this personal list of features he would love to see in an Apex version, and it never comes. And I'm not even talking about bugs and components like interactive grid, which I get a lot of negative feedback and emails and very explicit ones, throwing it out. I hate it. I'm not using it anymore. And I waited so long. And I'm talking about people who are not on the community, who don't even have a Twitter account, but they know me and they talk to me and they know they can, I'm this, that I'm keeping it secret and they can trust me and they can tell me what they really think. I'm not even talking about this thing, but everybody has this feature list, which he would love to have in the next version. And Matt sent me his feature list. Sorry, I didn't understand everything, but one thing, what I remembered from his feature list was, what does Matt want? Do you know?
I remember.
More plugin attributes.
Plugin attributes.
Oh yeah.
Yes, of course he wants. But I mean, honestly, I mean, I think.
But Jorgen, I was gonna add. I mean, maybe you're getting there, but there's two things that are happening.
Yeah.
One is this different release cycle, right? It used to be like a Christmas day with a long period of time, and then you find out about what features are arriving, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And now shorten the release cycle, they gotta be more surgical about what they're gonna tackle. I think 21.1, I think what I think I would have been better to lead is the bug fixes.
Yes, I agree.
Right? it's about stability and making it better, right? There were lots of enhancements, lots of corrections there. That's a big thing to focus on. And you said it, the background of jQuery UI and having to move away from that. So they got to start laying that foundation. And there's work that I'm sure they've done that we don't see to prepare for that, right?
Yeah. I mean,
but yeah, I also want to add something to the mix. Like, I think what also happened, like with Corona, so we didn't have the in-person conferences.
Exactly.
And of course, we have the vote app, and we can send an email like, we really want this, or like there are the tweets, and the Apex team, they still follow the community. There's nothing changed there. But the big difference is that when you go to the conference, like the example that you gave is 100% correct. Like if you or like me, like I had many talks to Shakib or like to Mark about like certain features which were really necessary. So we as community leaders, I would say, or like people would tell them and really stress important pieces that they need. And when you say it to people in person, it's very different than like sending an email. And
exactly.
So I think this is what also changed a bit the prioritizing, like.
Yeah, we know what you want to say. I can say it better.
Yeah. So yeah, that got like maybe a bit troubled, or like they cannot do everything at the same time. They also had to do the COVID apps, like Jorge said, like you have only 6 months. Like they had like Joel, but with Joel, like I don't really agree like it's the first release without Joel, because like to be honest, Joel was already outside of the release a long time ago. Like Mark is leading the releases, and so, but Joel of course was the voice, and he would like pick up the things and would also prioritizing the fixes. But yeah, like I think 21.1 is a good release. Also, like Universal Team, it gets a lot of like negativity, but if you know behind the scenes, like they made huge changes. Maybe not Universal Team 2.0 yet, but like they went to variables, and like this will help with future things.
Yeah.
So, but of course it breaks. Like now it's very visual. Like some things broke, and like they will need to fix it and patch that releases. But what they did is really good. So,
this is really true. I mean, okay. First, I totally agree with you. I think we have a mix up of feelings and creating this atmosphere we are in right now. First of all, we are all fed up with COVID, right? We haven't been on conferences for more than a year now, and normally we see each other, we engage with each other in person, and there's exactly what's missing, and where the communication flow is there. Then the team was on a extraordinary stress because they had to support this COVID apps inside Oracle. And then we have Joel that he left, right, unexpectedly. And then was this 21.1 release. If you look at it in a feature list or quantity thing, right? You're totally right. It's a solid release, no doubt about it. But if you have it on the other hand, say, oh, I waited for this features now for many years, and you are coming with a new color picker, and you completely neglect what we really need. Are you still in the real world? Are you still know what we really need? Did you lose contact? And I mean, my concern was, okay, now that Joel is gone, and do we have still the old connection to the development team, or did we lose the contact? And what if Mike is retiring, right? I mean, I wrote in the email, I mean, we left the heart of Apex. Joel was for me the heart of Apex, and Mike is the brain. So what if the brain retires? And I got a mail from Mike, and he assures us he's not planning to go anywhere soon, so he will stay. This is really, yeah, it really makes me happy. So, and makes me confident again. It's a very important, and he's all in with Apex more than ever. So that's a good message. But still, I mean, I see that there is this kind of, you know, something the change 5 years ago. There is still not like you said, of course, there are problems, and they did a lot in the background, but is it really a good idea to publish something which is not production ready? Or I think the quality is my personal, not only my personal feeling, everybody I'm talking to, right? They say, oh, the quality dropped a lot. So 5 years ago, it was rock solid to upgrade Apex, and the features they were there. They worked fine, and of course, with some exceptions in a special environment, we had this is the regular bugs. But now we have things where you say, oh, where is the today button, and why can I do this like that, and things you should see in the very first quality assurance level, where when the first test with this thing should cover that and say, okay, no, this is not working. Oh, this is wrong. For example, I don't know. Let me show you my my screen.
But I think in general, like Apex became much more complex than 5 years ago.
Yes, yeah. Hold on, I'm not gonna wanna blame. I just wanna try.
No, but it's true. Like it's true. Like
yeah, I mean, we're talking about. Let me share my screen for a moment. So look at this thing, and what do you see?
Yeah, it's not on the middle.
No. Yeah. Besides that, come on.
Oh, come on, but that's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is my presentation, so I can, you know, can play it, and now you see it. I mean, it was just a screenshot. What do you see? It's 21.1.
I don't know.
Yeah, why is that? Huh?
What are the icons? So load data goes downward, and upload data, download data goes upwards, and upload data goes downwards. So the errors are wrong. And I reported that 2 years ago, at least. This is there for 2 years. And this
depends on your point of view, right? You're loading into the
no.
So
download.
I agree with you. I agree with you, but it depends on
download and upload.
It's where are you standing, right?
No, it's not where you're standing. It's not. It's international. Download is this, and upload is this.
Absolutely.
And
I'm with you.
So you can say it's a small thing. Yes, it is a small thing, but I think it shows something that we missing. And I see stuff like that a lot everywhere. Basic UX stuff. Also, let me share again my screen too. Here we go. Like that, right? I mean, this is what you get from Universal Theme when you have your items. They are all, you know, take up a lot of space. And all my customers hate that. And they say, no, I don't want to use all the space on the screen. I want to have everything left aligned, just like they were used to with the HTML table, right? And I need Maxime for that. Maxime can make this happen with crazy CSS, and it's still responsive, right? And I made it you know, I don't know, 5 years ago with my own fixed width thing. I asked Shakib if this is a valid thing to do and said, yeah, you can do that. But still, this is something I would love to have this should be default, right? It should be a setting and say, okay, make everything left align and only consume as much space as you really need, right? Something like that. So, and I see a lot of UX flaws, which could be seen and also we get this on Twitter now much more than before, where I say there is something missing, something went wrong 5 years ago, right? And because, like you said, 5 years, it was different. Of course, we have a completely different complexity now. I calculated the settings inside Apex with Carsten many years ago, 3 years ago, I guess. And it was 8,000. You have 8,000 settings in Apex, possible settings. I mean, if you know that you speak a language fluently with 500 words, you could speak basically 16 language fluently if you would know all the settings of Apex. And even if you just use 1,000 of these 8,000 settings, it's still 2 languages, right? It has become a complex thing. And I think there is this theory out that the complexity and also the test cases, they rising logarithmically. And so if you have another component, it's not, oh, now I have twice. So you have more than twice. And if your third component is not 3 times more, it's suddenly 9 times, right? So the question is, has it become too complex to handle it and to produce the quality we used to have 5 years ago? Is it like a scientific problem that we can deal with anymore, or do we have a quality assurance team which tests every component before it gets live? And I kind of miss that, because I see in a lot of modules and in the application builders and also the things, the items and like the universal theme and stuff. So I report a lot, I talk to people, but it's kind of frustrating. And with this apex.world.com/vote, which everybody is agreeing, right? Also in the team, it is a running gag for 10 years now. But it also,
they're doing a new one, right?
Yes, but they're doing a new one. But I think Joel said that a year ago. And
yeah, it's already set for some time.
To be honest, I mean, I would do this application with my team in a week. And I ask myself, you come up with really fancy packaged applications and you upgrade them and demo applications. And this thing, which is really hurting us and I think the quality of Apex, it's not coming. And even it doesn't, I mean, Martin would probably say, oh, you shouldn't program that yourself. There is something out there, right? Just use this.
GitHub issues.
Yeah, something like that, right? And so this is all for me just symptoms, right? I'm seeing this as symptoms that for me, if I have an application like that, it's a symptom that something is, they don't want to, whoever they is, or this other part, they don't really want to receive our messages, right? You can say, no, that's not true. Of course, if you talk to the people in person and everything, but this is what it is. This is the thing is there, and it's a graveyard. It's dead, and for 10 years, and it's a small thing, and it's announced for at least a year, and it would take a week to code it yourself with these great people. Like if I have Maxime and and my other guys, I would do it in a week. And so I see it from a different point of view. So I'm not blaming anybody. So these are great people and they work their ass off. We all know them in person and they didn't change, right? Nothing changed. And they didn't get lazy over time and something. But I think we have a problem, to be honest. And I think it piled up over time, and the new releases were just more fancy than the frustration that your long requested features and bug fixes didn't find the way in the next release. And I think there must be a change in the whole direction, or in the structure. There must be a structure change, and I think it wouldn't help just to come up with a new application, or it wouldn't also not help to fix more bugs. Or so they hired a lot of people now, which is great. It's amazing that Apex is growing, but I would say what would be necessary, I'm thinking about that a lot for many weeks. And I mean, in general, I'm thinking about stuff like that. What went wrong, for example, why did Apple go down, right? So this was very interesting for me, and I tried to figure out why. So I think they need to stop the car. Everybody gets out and go up on a hill, right? Not saying, okay, we go faster, bring more people in, more fuel, and we accelerate. No. Stop the car. And everybody gets out, take a break, get up on a hill and see where you are and see where you come from. And there was a time 5 years ago where everything was perfect. And what did change back then? I don't know personally. I can't remember. I mean, I can't remember what I did last week. But I think this would be really interesting to get on a chalkboard and then say, okay, where did we go wrong? That the quality went down, and we didn't listen to the community or to the developers anymore, or maybe we just got focused on marquee features for Oracle or customers. And when I mean customers, I mean not developers, right? To sell or to position Apex in the market, kind of. And before, we were the customers, and now I don't feel like a customer anymore. So before, I had the feeling, okay, they just there for us, and they listened to us very closely, and they said, yeah, great idea. And we were one team, and over the time it kind of diverged for whatever reason. I have no idea. And I think it would be a great idea to, first of all, stop and not just go ahead or say, okay, should we fix more bugs? Or, oh yeah, we bring this new feedback application. And because something, if a navigation system put you on a wrong path, you cannot use the same navigation system to go back to correct it. You need to say, okay, this is wrong, we don't use it anymore. And we need to figure out where we went to the wrong road.
I think, Jorgen, is just change. It's all change. And like where we were before with 1,000 people, 10,000 people, development team of 20, now it's like millions of people and millions of developers. So like things change, and I don't think they can stop anymore. Like it is like, yeah, they are hiring, there are more and more people, but I'm not negative at all. Like I'm very positive.
No.
So,
I'm not. I don't want to put it in a negative positive discussion. It's not negative or positive. It's more like a mathematical thing where we have an equation and we go through the equation and say, okay, where did we go wrong? Where was we used a minus there. It should be a plus, and this was a right. It's not it's not, I'm not a friend of, oh, I'm still positive or I'm not negative. This has nothing to do with positive or negative. I really want to, like a bug, like you have a bug, right? We all know bug fixing. You're not positive or negative. You just try to figure out, okay, and it's interesting to go back the path and find where the bug is happening, and then you fix. And then if you see the bug, and then you say, okay, then, I mean, Dimitri, you know that, right? You say, okay, this is happening, and another bug is happening, and you find the bug, you fix the bug, but eventually you probably say, why are these bugs suddenly coming up? What's wrong? They didn't show up before. I mean, maybe you say, okay, Sunil starts to drink every day, right? He's drunk, he's not drinking, but just as an example, so he was sober 2 years ago, right? So there is a different reason for the bugs.
I see it as growth pains. Like I see it in our own company. Like when you are just like Sunil and me, we are developing. It's very like a one-on-one. But then your team grows, and then suddenly you have more people committing, and like one influences the other. And I see like you started somewhere, and the more you add, the more it's like what you described is exponential. The code base that you have, and then the combinations that people can use. Right. And like, so Apex is doing it all, right? There's no development technology that 15 years ago was working that still work today. Like there are, but like in a web environment, it's very like unlikely that something like this happens. Then like the team grew exponentially.
But what are you arguing for now?
No.
Are you saying no, we don't have more bugs than before, we don't have a quality issue?
No, we have more bugs, but there are more. There are way more features as well.
It's harder to coordinate with a lot more people, right?
Yeah, so that's one part, but also Jorge, like if you look at what Apex can do today, it's like much more than it used to be.
But right. I'm not denying that, but are you saying there is no way? So whenever you raise the complexity or you raise the amount of components, the quality has to go down. There's technically no way not to do that. Or is this what you're saying?
No, I described this as grow pain. So you need to put probably extra process in place to guarantee that like quality assurance or like whatever. But like Vincent did a tweet today, like what he has to do, like pair programming, review, and an accessibility review. Like they have already so much in place, and still like there are bugs. Before there were like beta releases, we found some things. Now it's like what Jorge said, like six months. And basically 6 months release means like 4 months development, and then like going through the cycle at Oracle.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
Yeah, more like 3, yes. Right. More like 3.
But we find those things.
But I'm not. But are you saying then, okay, they're doing too much in 3 months? They should rather do half of it and then perfect and with all the features?
Maybe for a little bit, maybe they need to. I mean, I like your analogy of, I didn't understand it at first, but get out of the car and go into the mountain and look from above. I do think there needs to be some sort of retrospect and see where are we going, instead of the next feature.
Yes, exactly.
I think there needs to be a little bit of planning, and maybe it's not the whole team that needs to do this, but that I know that in big teams that's important, right? You need that architect that at least has that vision, and everybody follows that.
But now they get pulled in so many directions as well. Like you have the low code, and like Gartner, like Apex needs to go on top there. And Gartner says like, oh, you're missing workflow, you're missing this, like you need source control. So they get pushed by doing those things. Then Apex is being used to generate all those government applications now. And like they need features for this. like inside Oracle, they need no features. Like, because Apex grew so much, and the evolution, like we are not this like David and Goliath. This is how I felt like in the beginning. Like we were this little David against like Java.net and all that, and it was really fun. Like we were all excited. We were going to really show like Apex is the best thing ever, and and now like we reached a point where like we are recognized. The industry recognizes logo development, and Apex is really good in that. But now like we are so big, and like maybe we are not yet a Goliath, but it's not this magic box that just can turn and
interesting point. Yeah. Do you think we grew too fast, or the company grew too fast? I mean, when I say company, I mean Apex as a company, not Oracle. Do you think they grew too fast? And the processes they didn't follow, or they went over a complexity level without having new structures in place of quality assurance? And do you think it was simply what you have a lot, right? In companies that are growing fast?
Yeah, it's like Dimitri said, right? It's growing pains, right? Did they grow too fast? I haven't felt like that yet. I mean, now maybe, right?
The last year is
right now,
insane,
yes. Last year, yes. But before that, no, I didn't feel like that.
No. It's just the last year that is just...
as you grow, new mechanisms need to be put in place, right?
Okay, so we agree. You also agree that you say, okay, don't go ahead and do it fast and make more bug fixes, but just new mechanisms, new structure. Just think about raise the quality, or bring something new. So I'm always saying, if you do the same things you did for the last 10 years, don't expect to end up somewhere new. So if you want to go somewhere new, you have to do new things every day. So what you did, if they did bug fixes for 15 years, so they brought people in a lot recently, but this is not, I think, new, or what's new, or what could help the situation. On the contrary, now Gemma is want to join. Should we let her in? Yeah,
let her in.
Yeah, okay, we'll let her in. So
she has a different view on things too.
It's a democratic decision.
Now she's not going to have the background.
No. Hi, Gemma. So we waited for you. We are already an hour in, right? An hour in the. Are you late? Are you aware that you're late?
I'm spot on time.
No. It was we already on for an hour now. So it started.
Perfect timing. I've missed an hour. I couldn't get better then.
Oh, okay. So you let all this little small talk.
I've missed
fashionably late.
I've missed an hour to argue with you.
She's fashionably late.
Okay. Yeah. Welcome to the show.
Where's everyone else?
There is no everyone else. So 80% of the people are on holiday. They don't have time. It was too short notice, and so yeah, we already covered that at the beginning. So to wrap everything up for you. So let me ask you the question: where are you with the feeling, with the gut feeling? What is the atmosphere, your mood about Apex from 1 to 10 right now? When 10 is everything is awesome, everything is perfect, and they read my mind, and 1 is I will never use it again. So where are you in just as a gut feeling right now?
6.
Well, okay, now we're talking. I was on 7. I was close. I mean, Dimitri was on a 9, and
9.
Yeah, I was on a 9. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, we all have different feelings, and also Jorge was also on a 9. But we also agreed they were on a 10 5 years ago. So was I. I was on a 10 5 years ago.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Okay, interesting. So we all agree that 5 years ago everything was awesome, but and we kind of found out that obviously over the 5 years or last 5 years, you know, I told the story that when I met Patrick at a conference at DOAG, and I said, "Oh, these are the 4 features I would love to have in Apex," and he wrote 3 of them down, and the 4th he compiled in his head and said, "Well, this had this application, this implication, and this." And I said, "No, I don't. No, that's that. Then forget it. I never mentioned it." And then in the next version, they were all there, right? And so they were basically, we were the customers back then. The developers were the customers, and now I have the feeling that we are not the customers anymore, but maybe Gartner, or and we need to bring out new features and position Apex and more in a short period of time. And the quality lack is a lack of quality over the time. The features we are really looking for, the developers are looking for, they got ignored kind of over a very long time. I showed some examples, which was not the case 5 years ago.
Gemma has some very good examples too, I believe. She was very vocal.
So, and
Are you vocal?
Yeah, so this is what a little wrap up what we talked so far, and now we are at the point. So what is your taking on that?
I personally feel that obviously the success of Apex, which I think a big factor behind the success of Apex has obviously been the COVID apps. Has obviously brought Apex into the limelight. And I kind of feel like that's also been its downfall, because it's been brought into the spotlight. Obviously, over the last few years, it's got a much bigger, but it's got much more money in terms of marketing as well, in terms of the dev team. But it feels like you were saying about the customer, I personally think that what drives a lot of Apex functionality these days is things like machine learning, is other products at Oracle, and not so much us. It feels like Apex needs to go back to basics, because there's so many everyday pieces of functionality that are, there's gaps. There's fundamental gaps in everyday pieces of functionality that need to be fixed.
Agree.
But instead, there's lots of new things being added, and people get very, very excited about it. And yes, it's great that there's things like maps, and developers get very excited, but they're not an everyday use case. And that's my concern. It's the same thing with a lot of the REST stuff. Yes, a lot of the REST stuff is really, really good. And I'm sure from an integration with enterprise applications and that, and I've used some of the REST stuff, but again, I'm not using it day in, day out. But again, I'd like some of these rough edges in Apex. And I honestly feel that I could build like Jorge, for example, when we worked together, I felt like that back in 4.2 with Dan McGann's plugins.
Yeah, I remember that.
I feel like I could build applications faster a lot of the time then.
Jorgen showed some examples of rough edges and little things, but Gemma, you've talked a lot about the pop-up LLV problems, and those are like little examples of those rough edges that they have to be addressed immediately, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's amazing that they're not. Like,
we had
no ability to set a value. No ability to clear a value once you select a value. There's like some flaws that are just, come on. It's like that should have been addressed immediately.
Exactly.
It's almost like some of these features are not being used to build applications by the team, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we had this Twitter discussion recently where where I don't know, was Dennis or something, or somebody came up with this modal dialogue and said, so why don't I get an event when I close it with escape or with the X icon, right? And it said, yeah, thank you. This was my request the day after it came out. And it was
the warrant on unsafe
right?
changes, right?
Yeah, exactly. Or one unsafe change. Yeah, a lot of stuff like that. So and it's weird that it's like,
you know what?
It's fine to bring out this feature, and then it should be the latest in the next Apex version. Better in a bug fix, but at least in the next Apex version. But now we are 7 years later and still not.
Yeah.
You feel like nobody cares anymore, right? And also
there are fundamental, and that's the thing. There are fundamental gaps, and you go, "What the hell?" And you log them, and you think, "Well, this is a no-brainer." Okay, this hasn't made a patch set, but this has to make the next release.
Yeah.
Whereas before it would have, and now it doesn't. And that's the thing that I find mind-boggling. Yeah. And I know that this, all right, I know this has now been included, but an example is the simple checkbox in interactive grid. But they put star rating, made it into an interactive grid before a checkbox. Which was just like, to me, it was just absolutely insane in terms of priorities. And I know I sat down at Open World in London with Joel, and I said this to him, and he went, "Yep, I totally agree with you."
Everybody's agreeing. Yeah, when I talked to the guys,
and that was eventually put right, but it took. And I know Jorge and I were chatting online yesterday, and I just, as things came into my head, I raveled off a list of things, and to me, it's just like, let's stop pumping out the new, let's slow down on the new functionality being pumped out. And
I wonder if with the pressure of getting all the things done, there's no time to squeeze in things like this that I think before they would just make it to the top. Right? Somehow with a long release, you said, yep, we're going to add that. We're going to add that. But now with this faster pace, the release is set and the timeline is so tight that when something like this comes up, you just can't move it to the top of the line. Right?
But before we also had the advisory board where we listed this again, like not same in conferences, or at the conferences, but then this advisory board, and that's gone. So
you would say too much marquee Gartner features and not the necessary developer features we are waiting for many years, and which are, like Gemma said, no-brainers, and said, really, this should be there on day one. And if you miss it for whatever reason, which you shouldn't, but somehow it went through the quality assurance, right? It should be there in the next bug fix, or at least at latest in the next release, but it's not there for many years. And then you start to worry, right?
But maybe like a new app, like a new voting app, where you can put it down, and then somebody who is responsible to react on it. That might help as well.
I'm a little bit afraid, I mean, this was the running gag with this voting app. I don't think it would help to just create a new voting app if you not change your mindset, if you not understand the problem we are in. It's like when you're having this, red light in the car, right? And you're saying, oh, we are bothered by the red light, so let's get rid of the bulb. And instead of saying, oh, why do we have this red bulb? And then you figure out finally, oh, I have not enough oil in my engine. And then you put enough oil in your engine and the light goes out by itself, right? Just making more bug fixes or making a new voting app. I don't think this would change anything. Like I said before, I think they would need to stop, get out of the car, get on top of a hill, see where you are, see where you came from, what went wrong 5 years ago. And then if you see that, you immediately know how to get back. And I think we have I mean, like when I think the architecture of the community was, here was the development team like a graph, right? The development team, and here's the community. And in between, the between the centrality was Joe. And this thing is gone now. And now we are fluctuating a little bit, right?
But like, to be honest, like we also had direct connection to other developers.
Yeah. In China, yeah, I totally agree. I'm not just, but I mean, Joe was the link between the outer world and also to the customer, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
he knew everybody.
He knew
everybody knew him. Yeah.
Exactly. And he pushed it back, and I think, I think we are on a crossroad with Apex, and after 21 years, right? This maybe not as a coincidence. No coincidence is that 3 times 7, right? There's something new is happening, and there's nothing to blame. It's like when suddenly school is over, right? And if you don't realize that school is over and you still try to get good grades, then you're in trouble, right? No matter how smart you are. So you need to realize school is over, and now you have to find a job. And it's like, I think we have an opportunity here that between the centrality, Joel is not there anymore. And now we are fluctuating these 2 graphs, and they could now, I think there's a huge chance that we come together much closer than we ever did before. There are very, very smart people in the community and crazy smart people in the development team. And I think like if we would work more closer together and share like advisory board and share our ideas and even solution, like the FOSS plugins, for example, right? There's 10 plugins from Matt, I mean, something so small,
and of course some fantastic plugins from.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about the money thing, it's a legit, business, right? You don't want to, but also, yeah, but I'm just thinking about the small things, plugins that you say, oh, that's a great thing, right? And it's for free, and why not taking it over into the core and use the power of the community and merge these 2 groups together more or less, right? Just having somebody in between who managed the 2 teams and work closer together. So this is, I think personally, just a feeling, but I'm analyzing companies and world, and especially Apex. I'm very involved for many, many years. I think we are on a crossroad, and I think we have the chance to bring Apex to a different level. If not, I'm afraid it's going downhill from here. That's my feeling. It's also my experience. If we go on the way, if we just keep on doing what we did so far, and more and more and more and faster and more, we will get used to it. Okay, this will never make it to the version, to the next version, and we will have a lot of bugs, and we will fix a lot of bugs, and Apex will lose the quality, and like Apple did, right? The last 5 years now, and I'm getting bugs every day, and it was a terrible user experience. So I think we have a huge opportunity now, and it's not of course, it was not 21.1 was not the first release without Joel, but it happened at the same time, right? And I see the signs. That something new has to happen. Like I said, you need to do something new if you expect to end up somewhere new.
But Steve Jobs left his memory inside his company, or like he tried to prepare other people when he would leave. Yeah. Joel's spirit is still inside the community. We have a very strong community.
Thank you.
So, exactly. And the Apex development team as well. So let's just see 21.2 if Gemma's feature requests make it in, and all the other small things. So,
but I mean, I think in fairness as well with 21.1, I think there's a lot of stuff that is there that we haven't actually yet seen. Yeah. For example, obviously the changes to universal theme with things like row and column classes. Now, I don't know if anyone's seen any of this. I would love to see a demo by Shakib.
Yeah, and the variables and universal theme, like a huge change underlying. But
there's obviously a lot of stuff has gone in there from a responsive layout, and I would love to see a demo by Shakib on that. And I'm sure that Jorge mentioned before I joined with regard to really how underwhelming the announcement was with regard to bugs that were fixed in interactive grid, for example. Finally, you can actually save the order of columns in a grid. And I know, like, I've spoken to Monica, and Monica has said to me, yeah, she's aware of, and the team is aware of the disjoint between the development team and the community, and it is obviously something that they're trying to address. And I know that feature request app is part of it. I guess the question is, what is going to be the workflow once those feature requests go in? What is going to be different from the current feature request app?
You need somebody who is responsible for it, who will give you a feedback about as well. Yeah.
And to me, I think like the feature advisory board, and I know like Joel emailed me several times on so far as the feature advisory board, and he said, okay, what do you think it should be? And I said, I think it needs to be a mix. I think when it was done before, it was too many consultants. I said, I think it should be a mix of consultants, the development team, internal customers at Oracle, enterprise end customers, and consumer end customers. It needs to be an all-round mix. You can't, because I think at the time it was very much, it was Scott Spandolini, and it was I think Roll and Peter, it was just a bunch of consultants, which to me was not okay. Obviously, lots of people who were going to lots of sites and seeing lots of things, but I don't think it was a fair representation of the community. But to me, it needs to be a global, consultants, enterprise customers, consumer customers, and internal customers at Oracle.
Nice, like the idea.
That to me would be far more logical, because then it gives a far more cross-section of users.
Mm-hmm. Agree. And we talked about before you came that I don't know, Jorge said it or Dimitri, that it looks like the development team is actually not using the stuff anymore, what they produce. Would you think it would make sense, like, let's say, having them 2 weeks a year, having in a real project, and basically having say, okay, you have to, instead of training, what did you have to do at Oracle? Just say 2 weeks, you can rent an Apex developer for your project, for big customers or very prestige projects for free. They just join for 2 weeks and watch what you do and how you do it and what you struggle with on a day-to-day basis, that they go back and have real life experience, what the pain is for us developers in a real project with pressure and timelines, and really say, okay, this date picker is not going to make it in our project anymore because it misses this and that, and so therefore the whole projects get delayed, something like that, right? Or when we had these huge issues with the interactive grid, we just use it for reporting, and then I bothered Dimitri, and Dimitri is hating me now because he had to create an extra version for me, right, for the fix to work around of the interactive grid bug, right? And he did a great job, right? I mean, they they provided it, but I mean, I'm feeling really bad that I had to put, you know, the thing onto you. And would you think it would help to give the development team 2 weeks off?
You know, it occurs to me based on what you're saying, and I don't know how the development team and Oracle is organized. Okay, it's just little pieces I hear, right? But it occurs to me that now there's a team that builds apps, and there's a team that is the Apex team.
Yeah,
before it was the same.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right.
Before it was just the Apex team, and they would have to get distracted on building apps.
Yes, exactly.
So it is possible, maybe it is possible that at some point they stop having to build applications under pressure for real use.
Yeah.
And they're not experiencing this pain points of saying this is unacceptable. Why am I doing this workaround when I can just go and fix it in a day?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of these fixes, they're really, some of them are a week long, some of them are an hour long. Come on. I mean, we know they are for them. They probably are, but they're probably not experiencing that pain.
I thought it would have been the opposite, to be honest, because I thought when they started building things like the COVID apps, which were mobile first, I thought you would have had Scott Spendolini going, what the hell, guys?
Too fast, but that was so much pressure.
Yes, yeah.
But no time to stop and do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Those apps had to be slapped together so fast that you didn't have time to take a shower and choose clothes, you know? So that was a different time frame. I think this happened way before, right?
I just thought that as more and more, and obviously there's government apps being built now in Apex, for SaaS apps, I thought as there's more and more enterprise apps being built by Oracle in Apex, there will be more and more internal feedback and more people having the same experience as we are with this stuff.
Yeah.
So more of this stuff would be taken, would be addressed, basically. That was my kind of feeling. I thought, oh, actually, maybe this would be, and while I like, obviously, Juergen's thing, like, I think 2 weeks is a little excessive, but I used to like it with, and to me, it was fantastic. Like when I was at Open World in London, because there was very, very few Apex customers there. Joe was there. And he was like, do you want a coffee? Sit down, tell me all your Apex problems.
Wrong question.
He said, what do you like? What do you not like? And we walked through various things. So to me, I think it's the sort of thing that to sit there and just have customers, just to have a call here and there, because obviously we haven't got the benefit of conferences right now.
Exactly.
So you don't have that ability to sit down with whether it with Patrick or Shakib or
but this is where the greatest things happened, like at the conferences, but not in the sessions, like outside in a coffee shop or like just
absolutely.
I think
in a bar, even like 1 minute in the conference made a huge difference. Like
but I think if you look at how many people are in the Apex team.
You mean in the core team? You mean in the core team? Poor. 20-ish?
30? Yeah, 20-ish.
Or 30 or even 30 now, yeah.
Yeah, I think they
more close like 30. Yeah, they grew a lot, yeah.
Yeah, so if everybody in the Apex team had an hour on the phone with one customer a month and said, what are your biggest problems?
Yes, yeah.
Or like the usability testing, right? Use this, just build something, just watching how you do things, like, and watching that, how you're not clicking on that one thing they build. Right? It's like, click it. or be like this, that's not how you use it.
If you had that, what are your biggest issues? And okay, if you had over an X month period, you go and talk to, I don't know, 200-300 customers, then surely at the end of it, you're going to have a bunch of people who are going to walk away and say, okay, I hate it that a pop-up love isn't quite like Select 2. It kind of missed the mark there. I have to give a display value and I'm setting it in JavaScript. Like say, there's no way to clear it unless I set a null on display value on null. There's no way to select multiple values at once without it closing. I'd like to see interactive reports and standard reports support over 32K. I'd like to see infinite scrolling.
And please do not add more report types to add infinite scrolling. Knock it off with that has to be a new report type. That is unacceptable. Right? It is unacceptable, right?
Yeah. Because I think there are some of these reports, like whatever that report is called, that has, what's the one that you check?
Reflow?
Reflow, yeah,
Reflow table.
That looks suspiciously like a classic report to me.
It is.
It is behind the scenes. Yeah.
Why that couldn't have been an extension of a classic report?
Absolutely.
Now, I asked that question to David Peake, and he said it's different reports for different use cases. And I was like, I'm not buying it on that one. But then, if you
then they become a subset, right? So there's a feature you're using under Classic that you want to use on Reflow and doesn't work, right? And vice versa. So yeah, so that goes out the window. It's not different use cases.
I don't like it that interactive grids you can't put into auto edit mode. That's one that I hear again and again and again.
Ridiculous.
So I'm sure if you talk to 200-300 customers,
navigate with the arrows on the interactive grid.
Yep. Well, what are the common things you're going to hear again and again and again and again?
Yeah.
But I really think so before, like the development team had to build some apps, but now like they were slapped with the COVID app. The whole Apex development team was involved in that. So, but I think we will see a lot of things in 21.2 and maybe 22.1 because of like Scott Spandolini and his team building the internal apps, like because of the COVID app where everybody was involved and had pains doing it because they had to do it fast. So I do think like, and also the Twitter, like 21.1, it was the first time. And I think like the development team heard us, right? Like they reached out to us, they said what's going on, like, okay, like they heard us now. So let's see what happens. Like,
That's fair.
So let's spend Mike's money. What would you change? What would you do?
All the small things. Yeah.
I'd do all the small things and I would start again on interactive grid.
So would you say it would be nice to have a snow leopard version of Apex, which was this,
you need to translate that for
make a snow leopard version.
Apple people.
Okay. What? So
half the audience doesn't know what that meant.
Okay. So Snow Leopard was this macOS version where they made everything stable, and it ran much faster than the old one, and with a smaller footprint. So it was the best macOS version ever. There was not much nice new features, basically none, but everything was there was much faster, much cleaner, much stable. And so would you say stop with new features, just fix everything we are asking for many years now, and then if we are happy again, make us customers again, and if we are happy again, then like Gemma said, let's sit together in future and with different people and customers, consultants, community members, and work together closer than ever before.
Absolutely. I I think that would be fantastic, right?
What would you what do you think? What do you think about moving the components to chat? Because I mean, jQuery UI is legacy, and now they obviously. I understand it from a company reason, but I have not a good feeling. I don't like the charts. I'm using high charts since day one, and they are amazing. So much better than chat charts, and easy to manipulate, and great support and everything, and crazy cheap, $500 for a developer license, and you can make all the customers happy. And all these components, like it's the date picker, or the got a lot of bad reviews. Could it be that Apex is becoming a shoot of chat, and this depending on this internal JavaScript library, and it looks like the same, and they don't have any influence anymore? Is it a good idea, or would you rather say, oh no, why they don't build their own component library, or there are better libraries out there? What do you think about moving to chat instead of jQuery UI?
I think logically they should move to the most appropriate, the best library. It's really the line, regardless of. I'm not particularly like, I understand, like obviously they went to jQuery mobile before, and obviously that bit.
Yeah.
So I understand the hesitancy of, and obviously that they are facing the same thing with jQuery UI as well. So I understand the hesitancy with open source. But then I think also on the flip side, there's libraries such as Jet. Some of the components are not particularly user-friendly or fast, and there's been things that they built themselves. And I know obviously I'm renowned as a interactive grid basher. It's not good. There's lots of other grid infrastructures out there that are far better, that would have been a better choice to go with.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, it is. I think it is a little worrying that widget by widget, are we going to?
It's a hybrid, right? It's a hybrid world that we're in, with some that are becoming Jet and some are not. That I think is going to be a painful transition.
But Oracle has more control in this way. So, but like, I agree with you, like Jet, like I do like the data visualizations, like HTML5 and all that. Like I like it. It's good. Are they the best? No, like there are better things. But yeah, some components aren't good. But yeah, like no, they have more control. So Oracle has a lot of money. So if they need to change something and we say, okay, like it has to change, I don't know how close the teams will work together and how much force Apex can put on those people to change things, but it is beneficial. Like it's closed source. They have full power what they can do, and they don't have to switch open source thing. And Jet is based on some open source libraries anyway. Sure. Unfortunately, they are always a bit hinking behind from what the cool JavaScript community has, because they use the more stable version. Understandable, because enterprise applications, but yeah.
But it's not. We can't expect cutting edge UI.
It's very fat, right? Jet feels very heavy and fat, and some of the way it works, it's very slow. So
I understand that they do it, and I don't mind that they do it. We just as a community, we have to tell them, okay, watch this, or like we won't be so happy, or like be careful with this. Absolutely. I think this is the only thing we can do, like, because like jQuery UI, if we say you really have to use the most powerful thing. Like that was jQuery UI at that,
yes,
at that
yeah,
point.
definitely. Yeah,
and
definitely.
jQuery mobile was awesome at that point.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So, and it turns out like now it's not being maintained anymore. So,
but if you are heading in a future direction, like I said, so the chance to make a step upwards now, because we are in a crisis kind of, and every crisis is a huge chance for a change for the better. So if in a perfect world, I would love to have Shakib and Bob basically design UI elements that are not there on this planet yet. And
yeah, but look at Bootstrap. Like they could have gone with Bootstrap, and they went with Universal Theme. Like they created their own. And
exactly.
Although like I love Bootstrap, and this is what we use, I also love Universal Theme, and they have full control over it now, and they can integrate. So, and what Shakib did with his team there is very cool, actually, what they did.
Yeah.
And it's a bit different, like from like everybody else is using Bootstrap.
Exactly, and that's the most important thing. Basically, UI is the most important thing. I see it every day with the customers now. I created a fancy dashboard, and they all love it. Right? They said, "Oh, I've never seen that before." And UI is basically 90% of.
Yeah, but it still lacks a little bit. Like Bootstrap moved on, and like they have more components.
And especially if you have, I was so happy when we got new fonts. Font Apex instead of font Awesome, just to look a little bit different. And I would really love to have Shakib/Bob UI components. Yeah. They should be in a cellar and create design new components for the next 20 years. And independent from chat, independent from any other JavaScript library. I mean, maybe that's completely nonsense because it would take 100 developers to build it. I don't know, it's just dreaming. But I would love to have them, because they have this amazing guys, right? I mean, Shakib is a genius from UI, and also Bob with his icons and the way he sees things. They could do something that is not there yet in the world. And I would love to have these people create something from the UI standpoint, which is not there anywhere else, but in Apex. And this would put Apex on a different level. I mean, maybe
I would have liked to have seen, because I feel like that the work, like Universal, there's no doubt about it, Universal Theme is fantastic. But from an options perspective, and I know it came up on Twitter recently, like the work that was done on both the Bootstrap theme and
Material Apex
was beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. It was beautiful. Like when I did custom Bootstrap themes, God, 7 or 8 years ago. But when I saw what was done with the Material Apex stuff, I was really wowed by it. But the thing that turned me off about it was obviously the lack of support by Oracle. And I thought, okay, well, what happens?
But it was amazing that Vincent supported it over many years, right?
He did, but amazing. I thought, well, this is fantastic. It's beautiful. But I thought, well, what happens if one day Vincent leaves InSum and goes to Oracle or goes somewhere else? What happens then?
Yeah. Exactly.
And sure enough, so I would love to see Oracle adopt the support of those themes. I'd be surprised if it happened, but I would love to see it happen.
But it would also make sense, because then you could build applications which are compatible with other applications within this company, right? Like if they use different technologies, they can create the same layouts in their Apex apps. So an option would be nice as well. I agree, but yeah, then you need resources for that too. So
what do you think about, I mean, Say it again.
Dimitri, you're looking for something to do, aren't you?
So, sorry?
Another project?
Aren't you always looking
You
for
need something else to do?
Oh, no, I have enough to do now.
He's smiling. It's a nice thing. It's a nice thing. He's got distracted from a nice message. Obviously, I see. I know this face when he's grinning like that.
Yeah,
he liked what he read.
But like in a way, like I must also be happy that Apex still lacks a few features, because it gave opportunity for companies like us to step in and help the community with those things. So yeah.
What do you think about the idea to make Apex open source, which would be a huge change?
Well, Oracle's never going to do it to start with.
Well, even if they did, I don't see how that.
I mean,
what would the benefit be to that?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is somebody mentioned it years ago. It was on a case scope. It was very hard. I remember that. I don't know what it was, where it was, but we recorded also the podcast, and somebody said, yeah, why not making it open source? And then there was, what? This will never gonna happen. And then I don't know who said that. And I said, well, there was Linux is also open source, and Oracle is using it, right? So is this something? I mean, it would be a bold move, and you would be free from Oracle and the chat.
But how could it work? Because you still need a database. You still need a database for it.
Yeah. I mean, but I have no idea. I mean, there's this free database, and bring something like this, a new spirit. Make Apex open source, and Gerald is involved, right? He's bringing.
So the possible benefit is you get somebody that can go and fix small things.
Yeah, something like we have in this special community.
That could be, but the complexity of now having somebody's full-time job is to test and receive this merge request, pull request, and try to compare and see if they work and they fit. It would just get bogged down. I mean,
isn't this something we are asking them anyway to do now, because the quality is not so good anymore and have a lot of UI and UX issues and functionality issues?
But you can fix that with topics like we discussed, right? A little bit of time with customers, watching how people use things, hearing pain points, prioritizing. That addresses that.
I mean, I have no idea what. It's just an idea, right? I don't know if it's completely crazy, but I heard it once, and it would be a huge step, definitely. And I love big changes, and it's a time for big changes.
I would be afraid, to be honest, because like for a couple of reasons, but like now it's very clear, like it's a no-cost option of the Oracle database. You get the Oracle database either free or paid, and Apex is there. Like, what did they do with Java? Like, Java is open source. No, Oracle is charging for Java, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's insane. Like, if that would ever happen with Apex, I would cry. Like,
yeah, that's true.
You could see it turning into if it was open source, it would be, here's the community version, and here is the enterprise version, which will cost you X. That's what it would end up being, wouldn't it?
And just because something gets implemented, let's say somebody brilliant goes and implements a feature, it doesn't mean it's going to get accepted. You know, just because it's open source doesn't mean everything goes in. It doesn't work like that. You still have a gatekeeper that says, go away, denied. Why? Because it's not in our vision, whatever the reason.
Out of curiosity, what is it like? I remember several years ago looking at the roadmap for Apex, and you'd look through the list and you'd generally be quite excited and go, oh, that looks cool, that looks cool, that looks cool. What is everyone's perspective now when you look at the roadmap?
Good question. Yeah.
Like,
yeah, good question.
So what you said, Gemma, about that Oracle is like putting interfaces on top of the Oracle database features, I think this is a good thing. Like they make the database features easier and more accessible for developers, which I think is generally a good thing to do. And where I get excited about is like that the Apex team makes things very simple for us, like you described it as well, like machine learning, artificial intelligence, like those are the buzzwords. And like Apex can make us heroes, rock stars, just by using Apex and providing this ML AI stuff. We can say we are doing. This is what happened like 15 years ago or 20 years ago whenever they build it. We could do with Apex, like we could build web applications, and like other people could do it as well, but it took time. We could do it super fast. If we can do something similar with this new cool buzzy thing that everybody wants, or like nobody needs it, but like that people are looking into, then like why not? Like I really like, we are doing it for our printing engine. We are looking at ML. We are looking at AI. Like we are doing many things with it. But it's still research. But I think it opens up like cool things. Like, yeah. Like PVA, for example, that's really cool. Like mobile, you said it as well. If they provide that, it opens a whole new area where we can use Apex.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, yeah. To me, like I was very unexcited about PDAs until
you needed it for your company.
Yeah, until exactly.
Until she realized she needed it.
To me, it was always, whenever I'd heard and read about PDAs before, it was in terms of the amount of space you could use was very, and this was kind of 2 or 3 years ago. It was you were very constrained by the browser, and to me, PDAs felt very much, yes, you're wandering around a warehouse and you do an inventory and you wandered out of Wi-Fi for a bit and you could carry on working, and then you wander back in and you were fine. It wasn't a full offline experience. That was always my understanding of a PDA, but from obviously my communication with Vincent the other week, I was ecstatic at the prospect of what potentially could happen, given that I have an Apex app and I also have a hybrid mobile app, which is purely for offline.
I don't see that. I don't see Apex ever working offline, and I don't think this is the market to target for and invest things. And I double checked also the PWA things with Vincent, and in the end, I tweeted recently, don't make anything which is not working on iPhones. There's a lot of stuff working on Android, but basically none of it is working on iPhones yet. So I'm not really excited about this if it cannot be used cross-platform. So
then it's a waste of effort.
Yeah, it's a waste of effort. Yeah,
it is.
I agree. Yeah, I agree totally. So,
but like if you look at the feature list, one of the other things that is, so machine learning, I'm excited about that, and the other one is developer lifecycle services, like and CI/CD and that kind of thing. And the only reason, it's not that we really need it, but everybody is complaining about it, and then it's not like we can just say it's there. You have it
to check the box, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And stop the discussions, just to stop the discussions. Yeah.
And those, like from the whole list, those two stand out to me. Like,
yeah, this could be a big deal. The lifecycle services.
Process modeling, of course, that's nice too. We have the open source thing. Like if they put some UI on the automations, that would go a far way too. So
yeah, that would be huge. Like we were talking the other day, I think if there was some sort of modeling tool on automations, personally, I would like to see it not go as far as whatever it's called, BMP, BP.
BPMN, yeah.
Yeah, this is a never-ending story. So this is a.
I was hoping for it to be going back to the days of Oracle workflow, but something a little more stable than Oracle workflow. That level of complexity, that's what I was kind of hoping for.
So the thing that Niels built, there's a workflow for Apex, right, which is based on Camunda. It's nice. That's good enough.
It's quite a learning curve, though, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's BPMN.
Yeah.
Like BPM.
Yeah, but
and this one would be too, right? This would still be
a
it comes with the territory.
But great question, Gemma. What would you add to this list? Is there anything, or are you really excited, or what would you be most excited if let's say they give you all of that list, or they give you 3 of your requests? What would you choose?
3 of the requests. I would just do like the bug fixes or the small improvements. I would just focus on that.
Yeah, I would go for the bug fixes, the cleanups, and the new Apex item.
Yes.
I think that will be my.
The new Apex item? Like
what you mean?
Apex item API
has been
the deprecated, the replacement for the deprecated thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think to me that's been to have support for things like pop-up love in Apex item, in a new version of Apex item would be nice to have. And obviously with the option to pre-inject universal theme CSS into it as well.
So I would say we would all say it would be very easy to make us really happy and bring us back to a 10 again, right?
But 10, Jorgen, it's also the atmosphere around it, and like COVID plays an important role. The conference is the whole thing. Like, no, and also the community is so much bigger now. Like, so we have to find a new way of doing things. Like with Kscope, it was the same thing. Like Kscope, when it was really small, it was a different atmosphere than when it was really big. So
no, I disagree. I'd be a 10 if I didn't have to jump through hoops to
same here.
Better value in a pop-up love. The conferences and things like that are all just pluses.
Yeah, same here. I agree on that. Yeah, so I would also, it would be very easy to bring us back to a 10.
I think that the current statement of direction is daunting. I think it's a very long list. And yeah, I think it'll be nice to see some of the stuff that are rough edges, right? Address those.
They should put a bullet. I think. Like community features, most requested community feature, they should put a bullet there.
Yeah.
And then an asterisk, highest priority.
Talk to Gemma.
Yeah, talk to Gemma.
Yeah, exactly. Align with Gemma.
What Gemma said.
Maybe it should be called Gemma features.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. They're the gem features.
Yeah, the hidden gem.
The hidden gem.
Default accepted. So,
nice.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Was interesting. Great. Thanks, guys, for taking the time. I think the development team will look at that. I know that they will look at that, and I have the feeling we are all on the same page. We could be made happy very easily again, and I'm confident that they do everything in their power to make this happen, right? They are still very close. I talked to them, and like I said before, my concern was when is Mike leaving the company, and he said no, he's not. He's not planning to go anywhere soon, and he is more committed to Apex than ever. so I think if they hear the message and use also the new chance to grow closer with the community and to bring us more in, like in an advisory board, or work together literally, taking over solutions like this, I don't know, the thing that the plugins that are out there, or this workflow thing, and just making it easier, not just to say this is the development team and they're the rest of the community and building their own stuff. Working more and closer together, this could bring Apex to a different level. Right.
Okay. Thank you, Jorgen. It was
thanks
great
a lot.
Thanks
a lot. It was great. It was great talking to you.
Yeah. Good to see you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
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 See you guys.